Hey guys, and welcome to today's video where I'll show you how you can drive targeted customers to your store using YouTube so that you can get sales from these people. Alright, so now we are in the campaign creation tab, and of course first of all we have to select our campaign type, which is video. The next thing is we have to select the goal, and I always proceed without a goal so that I have all the options available. I hit continue, and now we are in the real campaign creation tab where all the fun begins. So let's assume that you sell some kind of, I don't know, beauty product, right? Makeup, stuff, whatever. And you want to spend 10 euros a day because, you know, you have the money. And we want to, now is the first difference between the normal campaigns that you create on AdWords, because you can select between YouTube search results, YouTube videos, and video partners. What I like to do is removing video partners on the display network because I don't want to show in-stream ads. You know, in-stream ads are those that show up and that you can skip after 5 seconds. But typically these ads are not something that the visitor decided to watch. So it's typically they are quite annoying and many people don't like them. And as direct response marketers, we of course want the most direct conversion. So we don't want to make people watch thousands and thousands of times and then retarget them and all the stuff, even though this is also a good strategy. But I want to show our ads on, for example, search result pages or next to other videos so that people have to actively decide to click them. And if they do so, of course, the chances that they are really into our products are higher. So I will go with YouTube search results and I will go with videos right here. For the language, in this case, I go with English as always, and I go with the United States right here. So in the bidding strategy, we have the option between maximum CPV and maximum CPM. What I like to do is CPV, which means cost per view. So you decide how much you're willing to spend per view. A view is either people watching 30 seconds of your ad or watching the whole ad if the ad is shorter than 30 seconds. You can also exclude your videos from certain content types, such as you know, tragedy and conflict. Let's say you have a very happy kind of product and you don't want to be linked to certain things, but I typically don't use any of these because I think this is not that important. Additional settings, you can choose whether you want to use certain devices only. If you know that computers are working very well on your website, you should try this. Frequency capping is something that I normally use all the time. I tend to use 3 to 5 impressions per day per ad. So the reason why I do this is, let's say you have multiple different ads that look totally different. People might get bored of one ad but not of the other. So I don't like to do this on the ad group or campaign level. I usually do this on the ad level, and I go with something between, like I said, 3 to 5 impressions right here. When it comes to the ad group, you just go ahead with a name that fits the whole thing, of course. Makeup product A, and we now come up with a maximum CPV bid. Normally I go with something between 0.05 and $0.1 or 5 to 10 cents. Let's just keep it at 0.1 here. You can have a popular video bid adjustment if you want to show next to very popular videos, but in my opinion this isn't too useful because, especially if you don't have a large budget, then typically it doesn't really matter where you show up as long as it is targeted to your audience. And now we are where the actual stuff begins, where we really target our customers. And first of all, if you really know your customer, you should use the demographics tab, and only then you should use it. So let's say you have a kind of general product and people think they know their customer best, and they do things like that here. Not apparent, but in reality, as long as you don't really know your audience, you should keep most of them open. In our case, we had a beauty product, and let's say it's really targeted to younger women. In this case, we do something like this here. I also like to exclude unknown in the gender and age if I really know that I know my customer best, because unknown always includes some male people, always includes some people that don't match our age group, so I will remove them in both cases. And you could theoretically at a certain household income level. This could make sense, for example, if we sell a very high ticket item or a very premium beauty item, but in our case, let's just keep it like that. Now in the audience tab, this is really interesting because Here we choose our interests and other things. So first of all, remarketing and similar audiences is nothing that we can use right now because let's assume we don't have any audience. So we are left with in-market and live events and affinity and custom affinity. Both of them are pretty interesting. Affinity means that people are generally attracted to certain topics. This is pretty similar to the options that you have on Facebook. The in-market audience though are different because they show that people are looking for products just right now. So what here it says what they are actively researching or planning. This means people, for example, that are currently watching a lot of makeup videos, that are currently searching for makeup related stuff a lot on Google also, they fall into this category. And this of course can be super powerful if you want to get people that are somewhat heated already and that are somewhat ready to buy your product. So you could go ahead and say in-market audience for beauty products and then makeup and cosmetics. So now there would be people in this audience that probably have looked for a lot of makeup things in the last week and that also watched a lot of YouTube videos. These people tend to be more likely to buy your makeup stuff, of course. But you can also go with affinity audiences, which means that they just fall into these categories in general and not necessarily because they recently interacted a lot with them. So what you can do here is you can use affinity audience and custom affinity audiences. Existing affinity audiences are things like here, beauty and wellness, beauty mavens. This is an option. Custom affinity audiences are also very interesting because what you can do here is you could, for example, target people that are interested in your competitors' brands. So if you name this like beauty brand affinity or something like that, you could either target interests or URLs or places or apps. So you could go with URLs and you could, for example, target, I don't know, let's say Sephora or something like this. So you target Sephora and now you get an estimate of how big this audience really is, and it says, oh, 100 million to 500 million impressions you could get from this affinity audience. And you already see here the top website topics are makeup and cosmetics, face and body care, and beauty and fitness. So what this tells us now is that people that are related to Sephora fall into these categories, and also the demographics of pretty young women that are mostly not apparent and mostly, mostly female. Yeah, women that are mostly female. So you can, like I said, the estimate 100 million to 500 million, you can give it a description so that it's really, that you can keep things organized. But this is powerful. Like you can, especially if you have direct competitors and not just general ones like Sephora, which of course is in the beauty space, but it's very, very broad. If you have very specific competitors, you can enter them there. The more you enter, the better and the more specific it gets. So I recommend, just as Edwards told you in the last screen, to add at least 5. But here in the audience tab, you can really do a lot of cool things. So this is something I definitely recommend to check. In the next tab here, we look at content and we have the options to use keywords, topics, and placements. Keywords tend to be not too targeted. So even though it sounds pretty good, I made the experience that if you enter certain keywords, you will also rank up for all kind of other stuff. So normally I don't use keywords for YouTube, but I used topics and placements. The good thing about placements is that you can enter certain YouTube channels or even specific YouTube videos. For example, let's say we look for some kind of beauty YouTuber. Here in this case, we enter beauty, and I don't know these I assume girls, but Yuda beauty and beauty recipes and whatever. You now could go ahead and say, hey, I want to advertise on this channel and on this channel. And if we enter our bits and everything in our video, we will then see some estimates on the right side. So let's quickly use one of my videos so that we can actually get an estimate right here. I would put it like here. Okay, so now we have video, and we can choose between in-stream ads and video discovery ads. In-stream ads, just as I told you, is something that I don't want to use right here because it's forced. Like, people didn't decide to watch our video. So we will go with a video discovery ad, which can show up like below search results or next to other videos, and this is pretty cool. Now also the weekly estimates should show up, and in this case we have 1 to 2.4 thousand views and an average CPV of 3 cents to 7 cents. So now I removed the actual channels so that we are only stuck with our demographics here. We will go with the in-market audience of beauty makeup, Now this should change here a little bit. Probably it gets more expensive, or actually it stays the same. This is interesting. 4 cents to 8 cents. And now you can really come up with headline and description just as you know from your normal AdWords ads. So here you could say something like, I don't know, get rid of pimples, right? Or something like that. I don't know what your product really does, but of course it should be something that is related to your product. So get rid of pimples, and keep in mind that your name, your channel name, will show below your headline. So if your channel name is like totally messed up or something that is 100% unrelated to your brand or to the product, then you should kind of get rid of this or change it, because this way it may look a little strange. But of course, normally you have a channel name that reflects either your business or your products, so this is then no big deal. You can add descriptions as well that will show up then, and that help people know more about your product. And here you have a preview for mobile and desktop. Make sure that it looks very good on both. So on desktop, you will see the descriptions right here below. And on mobile, you have it like this. So very small, very few characters and words to actually describe it. So make sure that you really engage people with this little space so that they actually click. And you can decide whether you want to link to the YouTube channel that you specified or the video. I normally recommend to choose the video, because if you send people to a YouTube channel after they click this video ad, they may be a little confused. Like, people are used to getting to a video page once they click a video. So if you then send them to a channel, they might think, hey, why the hell am I getting to this channel when I actually click on the video? Because you want to keep your ad as natural as possible, that people actually like mistake it for a real video. So yeah, this is basically how you set up a YouTube campaign in AdWords for your products. Just as I said, keep all these things in mind here, in terms of using the right networks and choosing demographics only if you really know that these are your target customers. Choose your bidding wisely. If you go way too low, you won't get really enough impressions. If you go too high, AdWords or YouTube may show your ads on all kind of different things. Ad schedule, normally I keep this on all day. But yeah, then you might decide whether you want to target specifically with audiences or with content or with a mix of both, which is typically the best way to go. And of course, as I told you, you can go with placements if you want to advertise your products on specific YouTube channels. If you have some beauty YouTubers or some adventurer YouTubers, if you sell like adventurous stuff, this is a very effective way of targeting, because obviously people who watch these videos are also into this kind of topic. So yeah, I hope that you like this little introduction to YouTube marketing for your e-commerce store. I really hope that you learned something here today. If you like this video, then please leave a like. Also, please subscribe to this channel for more e-commerce, dropshipping, AdWords, marketing related stuff. If you didn't go into the eCom PPC Academy, make sure that you check it out. You will find the link in the description. It's a pretty good resource if you want to learn everything about how to use Google AdWords for your e-commerce business. So guys, again, thanks for watching. I really hope that I'll see you in the next video. And until then, bye bye and all the best.